experience. Now, you talked about the ACEs, which is one of my babies,
Oh,
right?
Join Dr.
If you don't
Paula
know what
Orr
the
and
ACEs
myself
is, it
on the
is a
upcoming
way that
episode of
we
Authentically Peculiar with
assess
Marcia as we
childhood trauma
discuss
in your life
all
and
things
how it
menopause.
impacts your mental well-being. It grades you. And a lot of times when people take the ACEs, the questions that are asked, they didn't know that they were dealing with childhood trauma.
mhm.
How do you help someone to understand when they get their ACEs results, right? And you're going through them and they didn't realize that some of the events that they experienced were trauma.
Normally when I do those with someone, and to me, normally the first reaction I get, well, you're saying my parents are bad. Like, that's normally, they normally go
We're
straight,
not talking about y'all mom and dad and them.
right? Because that's the first place they go.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, no, it's not about your parents are bad, but our parents, and just like me as a parent, did the best we could with the tools we had. But
Exactly.
just bring awareness. First, to me, that's the first thing I gotta break down is, we're not talking about your parents.
Yeah.
You've experienced some things that have even um, mold you to be the way
Mm-hmm.
you are as an adult. And
Mm-hmm.
then let's begin to talk about those things. Can you see how that is affecting your life currently? Are
Exactly.
you still stuck in those from those ACEs
Mm-hmm.
experiences? And then, once I get them out of my parents is bad, then they'll begin to see. And it's always like from a question standpoint, like, so are you somebody that does, I always ask them, have you ever experienced this? Or, oh, have you ever had these thoughts? And
Mm-hmm.
that's how I normally break them down. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna give you this, and then I'm gonna get you to a licensed professional
Mm-hmm.
mental
Mm-hmm.
health person, because this is what I got for you as this advocate.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing is we need people on the front end before they get to someone like me as a
Mhm.
licensed professional counselor, to really help them start thinking about their trauma. I know oftentimes when clients come to see me, it's I have this, my parents are really good. I had this great childhood. You're gonna be the one that already know that we finna break all
Mhm.
this down,
Mhm.
because the truth is honoring what you need or didn't have
Yeah.
as a child does not mean that your parents weren't the best that they could be in
Mhm.
that moment. So I'm glad that you're sharing that with so many. What gave you that revelation?
When I ended up in therapy.
Okay. Okay.
So, when I ended up in therapy, the one day I went into the office. I think it was my second visit.
Mm-hmm.
Just sat down on the couch and I said, I'm frustrated. And she was like, well, what's going on? I said, I'm mean. I am mean, and I'm a Christian. I'm nice for 2 days and I'm back being mean for the next 28 days and above. Like, I am just, and I've lost relationships, I've
Mm-hmm.
lost promotion opportunities because of this.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, okay, well, tell me about your childhood. I got very defensive when she.
To stop living it over and over subconsciously.
Mhm.
And that's what it sounds like. Your 9-year-old defensive self, I'll add, abandoned and rejected,
Mhm.
had to stand up for herself. So your first tier in the Maslow hierarchy
Mhm.
was already cracked, and it
Yes.
remained cracked until you went through healing.
Mm.
Wow. So what does it feel like for you journeying through the hill? Well, let me ask it this way. As you journey through the healing, do you feel like you've reached the fullness of your healing?
I would say not yet.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because like something happened to me about 2 months ago, and I was like, oh, I didn't know that was still there.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing had never brushed up against that part of my life. And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Mm-hmm.
now I
What is
know how to
this?
say, okay, let's get to the root of this.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And I asked that question because I really want people to understand that there is no way that you can recover 46 years
Mhm.
of doing things the way that you did in survival mode overnight or 6 sessions. It just does not work that way because those layers got to come off.
Yes.
And like you said, you had that brush up. And it's
Mhm.
like, wait a minute, where did this come from?
Mhm.
How did it take you aback? Did you um kind of judge yourself? How did you react to that?
At first, I did judge myself. I was like, "I'm
Mm.
not as healed as I think I am." Like,
Oh.
I thought I was making progress, and then, after a while, probably about 15 minutes, I had to have that self-talk, like, "Okay,
Mhm.
yes, you're not gonna take away from the work you have done, but you learned something new, and that you
Mhm.
have to work on that as well, and I'll
Mhm.
probably learn something new later on."
Mhm.
Because I feel like I am constantly growing. I'm constantly
Absolutely.
growing. And so, but it feels good to me
Mhm.
that I have that awareness now. For
Yes.
46 years, I didn't have awareness about who I was.
And to have that awareness is more empowering than waiting to heal,
Mm.
because the awareness moves you into the healing. I read something on